Hey everyone, I'm Gaia, and I've been watching a lot of Hot Pieces of Ace videos like the past couple of days, like really old videos, and I came across the series of videos about if there was a pill for asexuality, like a magic pill, a cure for asexuality, would you take it? And I've been wanting to do a video about this for a pretty long time because I know that like most asexuals who are pretty confident and sort of comfortable in their own skin are like shouting out, no, of course I would not take that pill, why would I do that? And you know, I'm happy the way I am, so I don't feel the need to change. And as much as I agree with that very much, I mean, that is how I feel about myself too. I'm not like completely against that idea if it existed. And obviously it doesn't, so if I'm really happy with myself, I'm not going to try to change myself. But, so I like have this sort of pro and con list for like the magic pill, cure question. Um, so, like, the other side that I feel is not talked about a lot is the why should you consider taking that sort of pill? I mean, what would what can you benefit from that? And I think a lot of people are really pushing back that question because it usually comes from people saying, okay, asexuality is a problem and that is why we're offering a cure. And that is very annoying. And it makes me want to say, you know what, this is not a problem, so stop trying to fix me. Or as Evanescence said, and I'm sorry for quoting Evanescence, don't try to fix me, I'm not broken. And so that was like my immediate response when I was first asked that question, like, I don't want to change myself. I love the way I am. Stop thinking I need to change. And then I thought about it for a while, and I discovered, like, I got I got to a conclusion that, you know, if people are asking it from that point of view that asexuality is a problem, that is something that in general, like, no matter what my answer to that question is, I want to educate them to think differently because asexuality is not a problem. But if that question is asked more from the, you know, sort of pondering point of view of, you know what, if that existed, would you? Then I would definitely consider taking that sort of pill. You know what, it would make my life way easier. And it would make my life easier because it would be more easy for me to create sort of relationships that I will want. And there's the big however part that it will take my legitimation to create other types of non-conventional relationships that I really want. And so because I think I'm a romantic person, I'm not quite sure. And like this answer has changed in my life for a long time. But let's say as long as I consider myself a romantic person and I think that maybe I would want to be in the sort of classic romantic relationship, or phrased otherwise, I do fall in love with people. It would just make my life way easier if I would fall in love with them and want to have sex with them. I mean, how great would that be? And it would take me out of these frustrating situations in which I have different expectations of relationships than the person I'm in love with. That sort of, you know, magic pill, magic cure would definitely help me out in these situations. It would prevent them from happening, and it could save a lot of frustration. So that is like my main pro, and I have a lot of cons. But I think that that pro has been really ignored by a lot of people from like the first initial pushing away the asexuality is not a disease, so you don't have to cure it. And I agree with that perspective, like 140%, 190%. But if you take out that perspective from the question and ask it from a more logical and wondering and curious point of view, then you have for me, I have that in my pro list. It would make my life simpler. However, on the con list, as all of, as about everyone who was asked this responded, you know, it would, like, why would I want to change myself? I like the way I am. And for me, I have another huge reason to not want to take that pill, and that is because I do a lot of visibility work. So yeah, those are like the main things on the con list. And what I wanted to add is also that if there was such a pill, and you know, if I would consider taking it, I would never consider taking something that would instantly change me, because that is sort of a change that is really huge and scary in your life. Every change in this, you know, sort of in this big of a scale is frightening. I mean, feeling things that you haven't before, and an intensity that, you know, people describe that they usually feel these sexual feelings, it's scary to think about it, especially when I have never felt that before. It's hard to comprehend it. And like every change, especially as major as this, I would really want it to be moderated and not to be like a huge instant change that I would not know how to deal with. So also, like, that pro list has a really huge condition that even if that is something that I would consider doing, you know, in sort of a hypothetical world of mine, then I would never consider doing it as like an instant solution to my problem, but more as maybe something to change in my way of life to make it easier. And I don't think that is bad, to want to make my life easier. I definitely think that asexuality, you know, it's giving me so many pros that I would probably not do that. But my immediate response when looking at this question from a more innocent place and not from a sort of trying to prove me wrong place, is saying, you know what, I might consider it. So I thought you would be interested to think about it, because I think people ignore that more, like, they ignore the other side of this argument, and I think it definitely exists.